Hey guys, it's Brenna, and I know I am completely overdue for a commentary, and I really have to apologize for that because life and work have been getting in the way. And the holidays are coming up pretty soon, so I'm kind of getting ready to prepare for it since I'll be busy around Thanksgiving. But I thought I'd actually try and squeeze this commentary in today since I have a little bit of free time. So that being said, I've actually had this commentary planned out for probably less than a week now, maybe around a week. This is actually probably my 5th deathmatch game overall. Like, this is probably from the very first few days the game came out. So there's going to be a lot of mistakes here and there. I'm still trying to get used to AC4 actually. Like, it's so completely different from AC3. And overall, in terms of the multiplayer, I'm feeling a little mixed about it, but more on the positive side, honestly. So I guess my first point is the freeze framing. I know that happened a lot during the first week, and it happened a bunch during my live stream, which really sucked because I had to practically reboot the game by going back to the Xbox dashboard and going back in, which took probably like, I want to say a minute for every time it happened. I think that was one of the biggest issues that really put me off the multiplayer for probably a week. I know it's been fixed though, so I've been playing multiplayer for a couple weeks already, and I haven't really run into the issues since then. So thankfully that's gone, hopefully. The second point I wanted to talk about was knife stunning. Like, I know that was a huge thing in AC3, but in AC4 they completely nerfed it. Like, the time between you throwing the knives and the time that you couldn't stun your pursuer was huge in AC3, but with AC4 it's so tiny now. Like, I can see myself using it for offense now rather than defense. And I know like about the majority, like 99% of the AC3 players definitely use knives on defense just because it was so much easier to get stuns along with smoke, but that's a totally different topic that I want to get to later. But anyway, knife stunning is nearly no more. The time frame, like I said, is a lot smaller compared to AC3. Like, the only time that I can find myself actually being able to stun with the knives is when my pursuer is like a couple of steps away from me and I throw the knives at like the perfect time. I know that's like a really shitty description, but that's the only way I can put it into words at this point. And from what I've heard, fast walking also affects if you can get a stun in or not, which I heard it really doesn't anymore. So that's something I really have to be careful of, and it's something completely different that I need to get used to. But overall, I can probably see myself using it for offense now more than defense. This also brings me to my next point, which is actually disruption. I'm pretty sure everyone now finds disruption like incredibly useful. I can still see everything with disruption in AC3 no matter how intensely you crafted it. Like, honestly, when I got disrupted for the very first time in AC4, I thought that my HDMI cable was going bad, but thankfully it wasn't. So it's gotten a lot stronger and a lot more intense, and so fully crafted disruption is horrible, just FYI. And honestly, I see a lot of people using disruption now rather than knives. Well, for defense rather. And the same goes for Glimmer. Like, Glimmer has definitely been buffed as well. I know these two abilities were used in the past mostly for trolling and maybe super pro, but now they're incredibly buffed, which I think is actually amazing because I find myself using both of these a lot more often now. And this actually brings me to my next point, which is, well, 2 points rather, time phase and smoke. Time phase is like the new smoke in my opinion right now, because you can deploy it immediately, unlike the new delay with Smoke Bomb, which I'm totally fine with. And it can also kind of render your pursuers and targets vulnerable, but at the same time it's not 100% foolproof. Like, you can't guarantee yourself a kill or a stun using time phase, whereas Smoke Bomb in the past, you could totally ensure yourself a kill or a stun, which was kind of unfair. Like, I guess my point is that this is what Smoke Bomb should have been in the past. That being said, I really don't see people using Smoke Bomb as much anymore, especially on offense. I don't want to beat a dead horse or anything, but I know there's a lot of debate on using Smoke Bomb offensively, which pissed a lot of people off, for sure. Like, it's less douchebaggy to use OSB or even offensive time phase now. OTP, I guess you could say. And that being said, now that we're on the topic of defense, stun locking is kind of no more, which I'm a little disappointed with. I know that they said in the past that stun locking was like an exploit, which I can completely understand, but at the same time I know that from what I've heard last, that the duration between you stunning your pursuer and then them getting up and being able to kill you will be looked into. And honestly, I'm hoping that the time will be reduced because I am definitely a lot better with defense rather than offense. Like, if you look at my previous games, you can see how badly I do with offense. So right now, in my opinion, defense on Manhunt is a lot more difficult because there's going to be a lot of hit and runs or stun and runs. But at the same time, I really like how they made it so blending counts towards your streak, which is really nice. So I'm feeling a little bit mixed about defense and defensive manhunt now. And speaking of defense, I am incredibly disappointed that they removed chases. Like, without chases, it makes the game feel less stealthy in terms of killing. The only exception to this is Deathmatch, but then again, Deathmatch in the past has never had any chases, but in modes like Wanted or Manhunt or even Assassinate, which I really don't play, it just makes the game feel a lot different, and it just, I don't know, chases are a complete integral part of the game. That's how I feel about chases, and I am incredibly disappointed with how they removed it, and I honestly don't know why they did. I don't think anyone else knows at this point. Maybe it was to balance the scoring system, which I really don't know if that was the purpose, but speaking of scoring, it is completely overhauled, which I'm still feeling mixed about. Like, I was so used to the whole variety, greater variety, and extreme variety in the previous games, but since it's technically no more, it's difficult for me to adjust to, I guess I could say. Like, I'm not used to the whole multipliers thing, but I know that's to promote stealth, especially in Deathmatch, because I remember seeing in previous games people running around in Deathmatch on AC3 and stuff. But it's totally different to see people getting scores in like the low or high thousands now, rather than like over 10k per match in no matter what mode you're playing. I'm also a little frustrated that they took out Simple Deathmatch. Like, SDM was my favorite mode, honestly, because I love purist modes, and I love Deathmatch, so I mean, it was like a match made in heaven. But with Simple Deathmatch, I can kind of understand why they took it out, but I definitely used Simple Deathmatch back when AC3 came out because it helped me gain a better grasp of the game and the mechanics, and I got to explore gameplay styles a little bit more easily. So with SEM being gone, I've been finding myself toying around with playstyles and getting used to the mechanics through regular Deathmatch and even Wolfpack. I could really go on with this commentary, but I have about a minute left, so I'm going to try to wrap it up really fast. My next point is matchmaking difficulties. Like, I thought this would be fixed in this game since AC3 had a lot of issues with matchmaking, like freezing, or limited mode, or just being thrown into an unwanted mode, which I know still happens quite a bit in AC4 from experience. I've also found it pretty difficult to lock onto people now, like in ACB and maybe even ACR. In AC3, it was incredibly easy to lock onto your target or your pursuer, but they completely, well, not completely, but they really hauled it. And they also really extended the range of whispers. Like, whenever I play Deathmatch now, all I hear are whispers. Like, as if I was playing the brewery in AC3. So this is what I think of AC4 in a somewhat 10-minute nutshell, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this commentary because I knew some of you guys are asking for one and I delivered, so thanks for watching. I will more than likely continue to play AC4 though. I'm still trying to let it settle in. And yes, this match was really close, even though I lost by 25 points. But regardless, I really hope you guys enjoy this.